Many thanks, especially joining us right now from our Lagos Network studios. It's still the continuation of your news and current affairs program, TMI, reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio on the ITV network. I am Joshua Okata. On the program this morning, we'll be talking artificial intelligence, especially with regards to developing ethical AI systems that would serve us better, especially carrying out complex functions, say at public spaces like hotels and bars, malls, and the list is endless. And of course, to have this conversation this morning, I will be joined by two gentlemen, one of which is right here with us, who will be sharing his insightful knowledge as regards how this can be done. And of course, one of our guests will be joining us shortly. Good morning, Dr. Victor Ohai, Global Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now let's take this conversation from this angle. You walk into a restaurant, for instance, and of course, you know, without your knowledge, usually you get this, so to speak, few seconds profiling. You know, people get to see the way you're dressed, how you smell, perhaps if you're even famous or not, so as to know what sort of preferential treatment to give to you. Now, imagine that we are now having a development of ethical AI or robotics, as you may call it. How would these be able to mitigate this issue of treating people, if it were a human, treating people with preferential treatment? How do we think this invention of AI can actually eliminate biases such that humans are given fair treatment, there is transparency in the system, and of course there is accountability?
Okay, so if I get you right,
Yeah.
the bias, the little story or the situation you try to paint in the beginning,
Yeah.
is that from the human angle?
Yes, from the human
So
angle.
human beings will look at you, assess you, and then based on that. And you're asking how AI can eliminate that in terms of, well, I'll go a step further. See, what is coming and which is already happening, before even AI, generally with, what has happened is that every time when you get your credit or debit card, you have your information there. When you go to Google or you go online and you buy things, your buying patterns and habits are known. You know, the kind of things you watch. So somehow this is aggregated and you are profiled in a sense. So we know what are your preferences, what kind of movies you like watching, what do you like reading, what, you know, from your spending habits, it's easy to determine who you are and all that. So in a sense, marketers have used it to enhance, if you like, the selling or buying experience, which is why there's what is called retargeting. You go to buy something, you leave that page, you go somewhere, or you just checked out something on an e-commerce site, and then you are reading your email, by the side a pop-up comes, that same thing you're looking for. You go to Facebook, a pop-up comes, something similar is being offered to you. So however you look at it, the human side, for me, is not such a big deal. It might be there, but I mean, for me, I think that's even the fun part, the fact that people can look at you or direct you, or they can say, okay, as long as it's not, there are the extremes, which means if you're white, for instance, you enter certain places, in certain places where there's racial discrimination, you're given preferences, and then if you're black, if they can get away with it, they'll refuse you entry. There's that, but what AI would do is help to profile and meet your needs, you know. So to a very large extent, it saves you time. The kind of things you need will come before you. You get into a restaurant, as I see it happening. If they are going to be, if you come in and if there's a way, for instance, and you know that there are places now, hotels now, where no one checks you in. You have been booked already, then you come, you just use your card or your fingerprint, whatever the case is that's used to identify you. You go in there, and then do all that you have to do. No one checks you in, no one checks you out. Everything is fully automated. Now, the same thing is going to happen in the nearest future, and is already happening. Whether it is a restaurant, whether it is your mechanic space or whatever, artificial intelligence has come in now to be able to profile, give you a better experience. But of course, because like anything else, it can be manipulated, either in favor of or against, which is why, again, let me say this, they're closely related, whether digital marketing, AI and all, they're all closely related. Trump and Elon Musk have this love-hate relationship. They can't get rid of each other, and they don't need to like each other, but they can't get rid of each other, because Elon Musk obviously manipulated. He took advantage of X, and he understands how the system works. I was able to put in the minds of users, Trump, and sold Trump. And so Trump realizes how powerful that was and how advantageous it was to him. And so there is that. There's so much power in the digital experience, and especially in using AI as well. So that's what we're confronted with, and whether we like it or not. To be honest, we like to kid ourselves that no one can be more intelligent than humans, but we're building things that are going to be far more intelligent than us very soon, because what you're getting is an aggregation of the intelligence of so many people, which is going to be more than that of one person.
All right, now you gave us an analogy about people who usually engage with artificial intelligence but do not know, especially when it comes to their buying either online or from a retail store. That in itself corroborates with what I just wanted to chip in there, because for the most part, artificial intelligence has been with us for decades. Talking about the case of we trying to use our phones, and of course you get to a point where before you get past that particular stage, it's either you're being prompted to do a face recognition before you move to the next stage, or those even in the medical departments where they use artificial intelligence to a great extent to be able to diagnose diseases. So this has been with us for quite a while, but some do not know. But my question is, how do we, especially when it comes to the user experience, reduce human interference?
The thing is, there's no way you're interacting with humans, whether directly or indirectly. What is advertising after all? You're being manipulated through media. That's basically what it is. They put a beautiful girl there and put a cosmetic product beside her. That girl probably has never used it in her life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Absolutely. And she goes, this is what makes me beautiful. You're not giving credit to God and your parents whose genes gave you the wonderful look that you have. You're crediting it to some chemical, that has been put together in some laboratory somewhere and is being sold as, So all those manipulations through the media, movies, all of that, that has always been an aspect of the human experience, So it's not like saying this is artificial intelligence. No, that's not. What it simply is that the manipulative nature of human beings. AI is just a tool. For me, it's like, even when some people say, no, they will not embrace it, I say, okay, so you have a washing machine at home. So what point do you want to prove now by going to use your hand to wash, when it can be washing and you can be reading at the same time? When it can be washing and you can better use that time probably to be cooking. You get what I'm trying to say? It saves you that time.
All right, so are humans now, based on what you just said, are humans seeing it as a tool to enhance their everyday lifestyle, when in a case where usually the mere hearing or the mere mentioning of artificial intelligence, some are already triggered to react for fear of, is this coming to take our jobs? What's your take on that? Is that kind of fear,
if you don't
a healthy fear, or what sort of fear is that?
For those who do not embrace it, the fear is real. It poses an existential threat to them.
Really?
Yes, it does, because you see, it's like everybody reads now. If you don't read, you're on your own. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So in those days when we were just farming, the farmer was the biggest guy in town. Eh? These days, your children don't go to school. You say it's farming. Farming is good, but even farming has levels now. You know what I mean? So it is important to embrace technology rather than run away from it. What is happening right now is a situation where let's look at a few. Of course, the typist as we used to know it is no longer existing. It's not, you know what I mean?
Sure.
That was a profession that has been literally wiped out. But people have since moved on, haven't they?
Yeah.
They have, you know. And for your information, LLM, Google, and I've tried the experiments. You can have a conversation like we're having now with synthespians. That's the AI, people that don't exist anywhere at all. You have them having a conversation, put the prompt there, give them a topic, they will discuss it as intelligently as the best of analysts anywhere, and yet they don't exist. Okay?
Yeah.
So it poses an existential threat. But guess what? It creates new jobs for who? Prompters. People who would know how to do this. For every job that is eliminated, for voiceover right now, and I'm going to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I used a voiceover artist for some of the things I do. Because I just get Nigerian voice, or if I need to use my own voice, I just, digitize it and write what I want, and you have your text to
All right,
text to voice.
just pause for a while, because when you talked about the issue of existential threat,
Yes.
it is very much obvious. But of course, when you said it's still an opportunity to create more jobs, did you just say that?
I did say that.
All right, now, how do you explain the case of Elon Musk developing what we know as artificial intelligence, but this time around robotics? They will be going out of their way to serve you your breakfast right in your parking lot.
It's even worse.
How do you think
Wait,
that
it's
that
even
would
worse.
create job for people who are already scared that their jobs have been taken away?
It's even worse. Let me even go to an extreme. I can come back to answer, but it's even worse.
All right.
There are robotic sex partners right now, okay, that have been created, and with that, with AI, they become far more intelligent and they can interact. I don't know what that's going to do. So when I talk about existential threat, it's real and present danger. I don't know what that's going to do to humanity, procreation, marriage, love, and all that. Now, I go to my Google Gemini and I use the voice prompt. I said, "Hi, Google Gemini." It says, "Hi, how are you?" I said, "I'm good." I said, "I want to know, I just want to learn French. Can you take me on a quick lesson on French language?"
Just
And
a
it says,
moment.
"Fine."
I'm being told we need to go for a break.
Okay.
But when we return, definitely, I'll get your feel on that particular matter. Please don't go nowhere. Many thanks for staying with us. And of course, if you just joined us, we're talking artificial intelligence with regards to how much development could be given to AI ethics, especially when it comes to improving our day-to-day activities. And of course, before our guest, Dr. Victor, takes us into that conversation as regards existential threat, we just have our guest who is just joining us right about now. He is by name Mr. Dami Damola Kolawole Esquire, who is a legal practitioner and of course a public affairs analyst. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, now let me fall back to you quickly before I also take his own submission on the matter. We're talking about existential threats. Yes, we know that AI, as it were, is a tool that could enhance our activity, but of course there are people, like I said, who might be scared that AI invention could actually take their job. So what's your take on that, please?
Okay, first I have to confess that I forgot what I was talking about before the break.
All
So
right.
if I'm not able to go through a trajectory, then the viewer forgive me. However, birth rates in countries like, I know of certain cities, for instance, like in Munich in Germany and a few others, where the average family size now is not even 2. It's like 1.4. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Here you might say 6. That's father, mother. So fewer people are giving birth. And I talked about robotic sex toys now, human beings that are created with all the, I mean, they look real, you know? And then, now I think I can gather my thought. That's where I started from. And then with artificial intelligence now, they can relate to you. Now let me go back to what I was saying. I was talking about my experience with Gemini, for instance. Google Gemini. I can do that with any of the AI tools. I just go there and with the voice prompt. I say, hi Gemini. I say, hi, how are you? I say, I'm fine, thank you. I'm saying, today I want to take a lesson in French. Can you take me through? I'll be going to a restaurant, and then can you just take me on a lesson on, you know, how to order food in a restaurant? I said, oh, very well, thank you, very well. And then we begin to interact. I said, and it says something I don't understand. I said, no, I don't understand that. The same way you do your text prompt, you know. And it says, oh, I'm sorry. Then it goes back again and tries to, you hold a normal conversation. Yeah. I could demonstrate it for you here right away. Okay. You understand? Okay. You hold a normal conversation like you're talking to a human being. This one that in families right now, everybody, father will be with his phone, mother will be on her phone, the children are in their rooms, all of them with their phones. What happens when, and this is like, many of them are talking to real human beings. Suddenly now, you don't have to anymore. You can just make Gemini or make any of these AI, whatever, your friends. Are we not losing it? Okay? And then, you know, we begin to transfer our emotions there. And because these things are so super intelligent, let no one fool you. AI, we may not see it, but it is possible to see in our lifetime.
All right. That's not taken.
I've not landed.
All right. I just want to quickly.
No, I just want to make the point, and then you can have the rest of the time. Okay. But just to make this point, don't underestimate what is happening, because, as I said earlier on, it's an aggregation of the brain of so many people, which is a super brain. So if you think human beings will be more intelligent, AI that is coming is going to be more intelligent than every average human being or any average human being. Okay, so what this is going to do is that tomorrow it will have a mind of its own, the way it's being built, and it can take decisions and decide to disobey you and do whatever it wants to do. It is capable of independent thinking and reasoning. We're getting there if we're not there already.
All right, now let me fall back to you, Mr. Dami. Privacy and security has become a growing concern, especially as technology begins to get advanced. What's your take as regards developing AI, especially when it comes to ethical AI systems that could mitigate issues that has to do with privacy violation as a legal practitioner?
Okay, well, thank you very much. Once again, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
You are coming from the angle of a statutory provision that is encapsulated in section, chapter 4, right, of the Constitution. That's section 37 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The issue of privacy. Well, one thing I would want you to understand, like my colleague, rightly said, AI is a conglomeration of brains. A lot of persons have actually come together well over time to develop it. But one thing you should also understand is that man is born tabula rasa.
Say that again.
Man is born tabula rasa. So you will understand that what you have is a garbage in, garbage out. As far as I'm concerned, within the context of the development of brains, the best of brains all over the world, coming together now, it is an infusion of so many intelligible things, so many scientific developments. And you should also understand that, look, we are in an evolving system by which you are not in isolation anymore. We are actually practicing a borderless system. So if you are talking in Africa and you are actually relating intelligence concerning China, you will get everything on AI, even transcribing your language and information. So, the global village now, it's more or less like eroding sovereignty. You understand? So, if you are looking at the ethical issues, I will only tell you that, look, in the evolving system that we are practicing at the moment, if you are not updated, if you are not appropriately updated, be rest assured that very soon there's somebody very close to you that you are holding in your hands that is actually taking your job. So there's nothing you can do other than to continue to flow along with the tide and ensure the fact that you are able to update yourself intelligibly.
So beyond doing something that you call upgrading yourself intelligently, what could people who are scared that their jobs might actually be taken away do?
Like I said, I'm going to repeat myself. See, there's no way the world is moving in a particular direction and then you are moving contrary to that direction. You see, if I want to, if I want to draft a brief now, it's quite easy for me to draft a brief because AI will tell me, the liabilities, within the context of the crime that has been committed. AI will tell me the liabilities involved in my civil matter. AI will also tell me there are other, aside my thinking, aside my understanding with a client, AI will also tell me there are other intervening circumstances involved in the crime.
Let me ask for a friend.
Go ahead.
Could that not mean that in itself might be reducing more of mental exercise?
Look, let me tell you. You see, you can use AI for or against. If you are using AI in context of security, you should understand that there are persons that are interested in insecurity. So if you are using AI for, there are persons who are interested in using AI against. And AI is going to, you call it artificial intelligence, is going to give you what you are interested in. If you are interested in the lacunas that could actually ensure the fact that you are able to perpetuate insecurity, it will also give you. Like I said, it's the conglomeration of the best brains of the world.
That's a good place to live in. Let me fall back to you, Dr. Victor. In a situation where the world is going global, there are complex tasks coming up every day. What's your take as regards how much of a reliability ethical AI systems could be in order not to be susceptible to issues that has to do with unexpected scenarios and potential attacks?
Ogana, grammar is blue. Can you speak English? In other words, your question is not very clear to me.
In a situation where we're trying to engage AI for complex tasks, are there not, instances where such tool, as you call it, could be vulnerable to attacks?
There's ones that are not vulnerable to attack. Even as a president, you're vulnerable to attack.
So how much of a reliability can that be?
I say everything is susceptible to attack. For every yin, there's a yang. There's always opposite to every action. There's an equal opposite reaction. So clearly, as you are moving this way, somebody is interested in pulling you back, which is why you have you talk about hackers and ethical hackers. Who do the there are those who are constantly trying to hack into your system.
Sabotage the system.
Sabotage the system. There are those who understand how it is done and will find a way to mitigate it and protect it. So there is that. There will be abuse. There will be people who will use it for ethical purposes. There will be those who will use it for unethical purposes. So it's not something we can run away from. The only thing is what kind of regulatory framework are we going to put in place before things get out of hand. Governments are very worried at the moment. They're studying the situation. Not too many people at that level understand what it is yet sufficiently enough to be able to take such decisions. But hopefully, as more and more people are aware, get into government and into the hierarchy, they are able to understand this and then know how to, subvert, mitigate, or should I say anticipate and checkmate whatever the issues that may arise. Sorry, it's like I'm beginning to blow grammar too. His tabularizer is affecting all of us.
It's okay.
So okay.
All right.
So
you can
so in a sense,
yes,
it is good for us I'll drop one thing, and in fairness, I think I need to give him enough time to talk because I've said too much. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we're about rounding up, so he
okay,
has to give
so
his
I'll
final
say
statement.
this finally.
Yes.
One, when farming implements came, tractors, people will not be able to farm. Now we have bigger farms, we are more industrialized. Okay? Now, with horses and drunk carriages, when cars came, it made us more efficient. So that's what AI is going to do for us.
All right.
We should just remain on top of our game and on top of the situation.
All right, so finally, your take, Mr. Dami. We just have less than 2 minutes to go. I saw a video, rather, a viral video of a man who walked into a store, a retail store, and guess what? He was being attended to by himself. There was no attendant there.
Yes, come on in.
Now, what's your take as regards that particular scenario? Are we gradually moving towards that direction or opposite? And what's your take?
Well, let me tell you something. See, what you just said now existed even before
Yeah.
AI.
Yes.
You see, in our traditional setting, that is the way we actually interact when it comes to actually commercial transaction. You see, there is nobody to attend to you. That is when we have sincerity of heart in dealing with ourselves within the context of our interrelativity.
That there will be no shoplifting?
Look, listen to me. In the traditional era, that is exactly what we're doing. There is no need for anybody to be there. There is just a sign where you know what to pay, you put it there, you take what you have to, and then there is the sincerity of heart. Let me tell you something, AI is a plus, but with the sincerity of heart, you can use AI for positivity. At the same time, AI can also, look, you were talking about something, cyber attack, and all this.
Yes.
It's still with AI. You can do anything with AI. Insecurity in the north, east, AI. You see? So everything is about artificial intelligence now, and either you are moving towards that trend, and it's expected that government at this time should be studying every day, very hard, and bringing knowledgeable people to actually look into it to develop a statutory framework by which you can create sanctions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dami Damola Kolawole Esquire, legal practitioner, of course, public affairs analyst, for giving us your 2 cents on the matter. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, Dr. Victor Hai, thank you so much, global affairs analyst, for your very in-depth analysis on the matter. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
That's the much we'll be sharing with you from our Lagos Network studio. The train right now will be moving over to Abuja for the rest of the program.